Hey, look what we have found. Big sound in a small town, far from the bright lights. They're making music every night. Discover what's all around. The big sound of a small town.
Hi, and welcome to Big Sound Small Town. I'm your host, Sandy Carlton, and this is a podcast about the lives and stories of the musicians, writers, artists, and their associates that have their roots in the small towns and communities across America. If you like what you hear, tell somebody. Enjoy. Today on Big Sound Small Town, my guests are Steve and Bryon McMurry from the band Acoustic Syndicate. I'm so glad to have you guys here.
Man, well, thanks for coming over.
It's my pleasure. All right, let's start with this. We're here late, kind of in middle of October. What's up on the farm?
Not much.
Rain today.
It's raining today, and we're happy about that.
But has the rain affected your crops?
Yeah, the lack of it has.
Yeah, lack of it, yeah.
Some guys are doing okay. I talked to Ronnie King yesterday and stopped by, and he was cutting beans. And He looked like he was rolling pretty good, but
good.
his stuff was early and mine's late, of course, and so who knows, man? We just have to see what it's going to do. I walked out through there 2 days ago. It doesn't look like it's going to do a whole lot.
Well,
So
what's going price these days?
last time I looked, it was $735.
No, it's not $735. Really?
Yeah, and it may come back up a little bit because our fearless leader president is negotiating our way out of this.
Yeah, well, that's what he says anyway.
So he says. So we'll take him at his word.
Well,
But
I think it's kind of from Cleveland County. It's kind of all over the board. Some of the like Steve said, some of the early soybeans and corn that got planted early got the water it needed to make a crop. But there'll be some stuff that's not even harvested this year for sure because of the later beans.
Let me ask both of you guys. How do you keep the deer and the groundhogs from eating all that stuff?
No, it's
People don't understand that. They don't know that even happens.
It's unbelievable how much is lost from deer and groundhog.
But groundhog got eat too.
Yeah, well, in my case with the blueberries, I'm telling you, the deer and the birds love them. So I just have enough for all of us.
Everybody.
There you go.
Yes,
I mean,
right.
That's what
I'll
you
tell
hope.
you a funny story about groundhogs. I work with a bunch of construction workers on my day job. Roadway construction workers too. Bridge guys. Well, most of them are all pretty rural guys. They're all a lot of hunters and a lot of some small farmers.
Right.
This one guy who lives in Elkin was telling me the other day, we were talking about groundhogs and how they eat up your soybeans. He goes, "You ever eat groundhog?" I was like, "No, I've never eaten a groundhog." He goes,
I have.
He goes,
I've tried some groundhog.
"It ain't bad." And I was like, "Well," I said, "I don't know." I said, "They look pretty greasy to me." He said, "Oh, they greasy." He said, "But think about it." He said, "Groundhog is a strict vegetarian." He said, "They don't poop where they sleep." He said, "They're fairly clean animals." He said, "And if you cook them slow," he said they're really good. He said, "If you season them up good and cook them all day, and let that grease get out of them."
It's amazing
really
how greasy.
Well,
they
you know
are.
what?
They're
He brought
greasy.
some the next day that he had made over the weekend, and I tried some of it. Damn, it wasn't pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to remember that.
When we were kids, my dad, they used to have these groundhog suppers up in Old Bellwood High School. And, they just called it the groundhog supper. They had mostly barbecue, but there was always groundhog there. And they'd cook them. And, as a kid, it was just a little too greasy. It's very greasy to be a vegetarian animal. It's pretty interesting.
That's something I didn't expect from you guys right there. All right, let's start. You guys are back at the top again. How did that kind of happen?
But it's only like a 4-foot step ladder.
Well, I know, but I realize that. But everybody else's is about 1.5 feet. Okay. Without a doubt, there's not even any deliberation, no discussion about this. You guys are the most successful band to come out of Cleveland County ever of all time.
With the exception of one dude,
Earl.
Mr. Earl's
well,
great.
I know, but but he didn't have. He did have a band. He had a band to die for. But we're just this is a disclaimer on that.
Okay.
I expect at some point.
Foregone conclusion. I guess.
That's flat Scrooge. That don't count.
Yeah.
But with the exception of that, how many albums do you guys have now? I did the research.
6.
Is it 6?
It's 7.
7. Okay.
The live album.
Yeah. There you go.
6 recorded and a live. I guess that's recorded too, but a live recording. Yep.
Yeah, that's a lot of albums for Cleveland County.
Yeah.
You have a favorite of those while we're on those?
Mine is Long Way Around.
Yours?
I don't know about yours.
You know what? It comes back to that long way round also. It's unbelievable. We kind of we played those songs over and over, and I didn't go back and listen to the record for several years after that. Actually, till after our next record, Rooftop Garden, which I think is a fine record. Also, it's a fine record. But going back and just that's one of the best records we've done. Is That Long Way Around?
That's the Sugar Hill one too, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's still Little King.
No, that's Little King.
Nope, that was the
Sugar
second
Hill?
record we did for Sugar Hill, and we bailed on the third one.
It's kind of a mutual bailing, I guess.
It was.
maybe.
They let us go, and we let them go. So
That works. I mean,
Yeah. No, we got to the end of our rope touring wise, and that's the only reason we didn't make the third record.
right.
But we still owed them one when we quit. And Paul was nice enough to let us
Very
out of it.
gracious.
That's good. Yeah, that's
Right.
good.
And but that was a good record. I think one of the reasons it turned out so well was we had plenty of time to make it. We weren't really. I mean, we had access to that studio pretty much anytime we wanted it. It was state of the art with perfectly vintage, the right amount of vintage.
Where's this studio?
Okay, it was. It's called Epiphonic Studios, and it was in Lenore of all places.
Lenore?
Yeah,
Lenore, North
Lenore,
Carolina. And it's, I don't even know, my daughter plays soccer up there. Do you know where the soccer?
I do, yes, I do.
Right there, right in the heart of
That's
town.
where it is.
That little Catholic church,
Yeah.
the Rock Catholic Church is
Oh,
across
that's
the
where
road.
it was.
Still is.
That's where we recorded, yeah.
It's still there.
Well, it's not running. It
It's
doesn't.
not
I don't
running.
know that it's running because I was just up there about 4 months ago, and I always walk past it to see. And it doesn't look like it's everything's still there, but it was an old Catholic church that the owner he gutted, took all the wood, all the stained glass, everything out of it, put in a state of the art studio, and put everything back just like it was. All the wood, all the old wood, and everything.
So is that
Amazing.
like a low key Echo Mountain?
It's I mean, it would rival Echo as far as the quality. This guy is one of the most devoted gear hounds you've ever seen in your life. I mean, he had an honest to God British Neve console, and I think it was.
really?
I think it had some history to Abbey Road, but I can't remember exactly
That
what
is
it was.
too cool.
But the other thing was he had an API up in the upper. He was rigged up
SSL?
6 ways to Sunny. He had a beautiful API up in the loft, which is where the control room was used to be where the choir balcony or where the balcony would
that's
be in the
pretty cool.
church.
Yeah.
So you're looking down over the church, and while you're tracking, and it was just such a beautiful place, kind of like Echo Mountain, but he did more diligence
Right.
building that. He spent $1.3 million just on the building, soundproofing that thing,
Right.
point to point, hand done electronics from tip to stern.
He had a microphone collection as good as any. I think that was it an SSL console he had that belonged to Weird Al Yankovic that they had gotten out of there, but just he had mics. I think what happened was being Lenore versus Asheville.
Right.
They kind of came on board at the same time, but just the scene in Asheville versus.
Oh yeah, well, I can
Lenore.
understand. I mean, Lenore's not exactly a hotbed of music. Come here.
Yeah,
No.
and coupled with the
Or
dynamic.
cuisine, for that matter.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
the dynamic change and of how things were recorded in general.
Who produced that album?
Lloyd Maines.
Lloyd Maines of
That guy.
the Dixie Chicks.
Dixie Chicks. Yeah.
Natalie's daddy.
Pedal
steel guy.
Lord.
Yeah, he's an awesome.
He is an awesome pedal steel player.
He's an incredible pedal steel player, and he was playing with Buddy Miller,
I'm sure.
and he was playing who's the girl? I forget now. Anyway,
Lloyd Maines is the bomb.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
he's
is.
awesome.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty. I did not know that.
yeah, and what just a joy to work with. I mean, the guy had a huge brain, and he was just always chunking ideas out there. Just one after another. Had some really. It really latched on to the band and the music that we were doing, and didn't really want to change it up too much.
Oh, that's unusual
And
too.
I know. The only things that he did change were just embellishments.
Yeah.
Put a little something here. Put this. Try a different snare here. He was very fun to work with, and just a very positive person.
Oh,
Had
that's
wonderful
great.
stories too.
Oh,
He was in a
I'm
band.
sure he does.
He was in a band that toured Europe opening for the Clash.
No way. With the pedal steel.
I don't know what he was. Probably
No, he was a guitar player, too,
Guitar
yeah.
player then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, that's too cool. I mean,
He had an interesting story. One time he said they were, and I don't even know where they were. Anyway, they were at a Halloween party, playing in a living room of somebody's house, and somebody knocked on the door. It was David Byrne. He had knocked on the wrong door.
Oh no,
He
really?
was supposed to be next door,
Right.
but he came on in before the evening ended. They were playing Life During Wartime.
Oh man!
It was so great.
Talk
It was a great
about
story.
burning down the wrong house.
Yeah.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really cool.
But that studio was it was really cool. We got to mix the record there, and
It would just be a wonderful thing to make another record in that studio.
I know.
I think about it all the time. It's
Yep.
it's there. It's a really remarkable place.
That's cool. I'll have to
I
check
don't
that
know
out
if it's
too
still
sometime.
what's happening. We've kind of lost touch with the Pritchards.
That who?
Nathan Pritchard was the
Nathan
owner.
Pritchard
is his
And he had invested wisely in his
Apparently.
prior life, and he had some money to throw around. I think he had to go do some more investing after that.
Yeah, studio, man. I mean, it's just like a band. I mean,
Yeah.
no matter how much money you got, you can spend it all
Oh,
in a
yeah.
band. I mean,
Every bit of it.
all right, tell our listeners about the road.
Well, it used to be a lot harder than it is now. I kind of like what we're doing now, just kind of picking and choosing our battles and running out and doing what's comfortable. We all, working day jobs and
Right.
stuff since we kind of took a break in 2005. And, worked out good, really.
Oh, yeah.
I think this is. I don't think if we would have kept at it the way we were going, I don't think we would have survived.
Well, and you guys are basically one of the smartest bands I know. You guys are going to have retirement. You're not going to have to go out at my age and play to make to survive.
As a necessity.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is a very smart choice that musicians a lot of time do not make. I mean, that in itself.
Well, it's so easy to get caught up in the. It's such a cliche. I hate to use this term, but the dream of it. It's
Yeah.
just like you want to be successful, and the only way you can truly be successful, in most people's view, is that if you go at it full time. Well, that may be true for everybody, but it ain't true for
Right.
everybody.
Well, I mean,
So-
you guys have done really well and stayed here. You didn't take it anyplace else. I mean, you've done it from here. How did that? I mean, did y'all ever think about
All the time. Yeah.
taking it to someplace other than my base is in Cleveland County? But would I be better off if I took if we took the whole act to Nashville, Atlanta, Colorado?
That never occurred to me, to be honest with you. We were. It might have been for me personally. I would have had a real hard time doing that because it just doesn't seem like the right thing to do.
The only time we almost switched gears was management out in Colorado.
Management will do that.
We went out one time and courted a company that was looking to manage us out of Colorado, and we ultimately chose to stay out of loyalty to the where we were at the time.
Yeah,
there's always this level of success that you always think that you should be at, and you don't. And a lot of times you don't even realize that you're successful where you are. And I think over the years, as they went by, we kind of figured that out.
well, it is relative. I mean, realize that no matter the success level, it's still a traveling third shift job, second/third
and
shift
third.
job.
Yes, it is.
With technically no benefits.
Yes,
I
it's the
mean-
hardest.
I mean,
it's the hardest job that one can ever.
People don't realize that.
No.
They see, God, man, these guys are making a bunch of money. They're playing these great festivals. They're playing these great jobs. Speaking of great festivals, your favorite of what you've done?
Oh, that'd be a tough one.
Okay.
While I'm thinking about that, let me just give you the glorious every day in and out of touring. It's exactly what you're thinking. It's all glitz and glamour. Everything's great. We stay in the finest hotels. Travel is all done for us. We fly most everywhere. But day in, day out, if you like looking at the back seat of your brother's head in a 2000 van that's got 200,000 miles on it, and if you like nasty toilets, and if you like mediocre hotel rooms, and yeah, boy, this is the business for you.
And laundromats.
But that's just one part of it, but it's not the easiest thing, and the older you get, the harder it is.
Yeah, I agree with that totally.
But on the flip side of that, there is nothing in my life that's more rewarding.
Well, I will tell you
That's
this,
the flip side.
and I know about both of y'all. Don't matter how much money you got, you cannot buy the stories y'all have.
This is true.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that life is a story, or your value of life is story and fun and memories, but let's bet you guys have loaded up on that.
Yeah, we're pretty wealthy in that regard, I bet. We got to do a lot of things and see a lot of places and meet so many
that we wouldn't have gotten it done.
We would have never done.
Technically, in your field, in your genre of music, you've met or played with everybody, right? I mean,
a lot of them.
Yeah.
I mean,
a lot of folks. That comes with longevity too.
Yeah, it does. I agree.
If you stick around long enough, you're bound to run into somebody sooner or later.
The music world's not as big as one might think.
Yeah, this is true, and they do kind of come and go.
Yeah,
right.
I mean,
in our world, in our universe, our orbit that we travel around in, we're not running around with Taylor Swift.
Well,
you know what I mean.
That's a different world.
That's a whole separate world, and
It is.
and they wouldn't understand our world, and we totally would not get theirs for sure.
True.
And probably neither one of us would be comfortable in either place. But the niche that we've carved out and the relationships that we've made traveling the country, case in point, we got to see Leftover Salmon last week, over here in Pisgah, and we think back on it. We've been touring around with those guys for 25 years,
Right.
and they're like us.
They have
still
longevity that's coming
They're
along
out there
too.
banging away at it, man. Still, week after week, day after day, and they got to roll. They got to roll to keep going.
Yeah, they do.
And when we got done, we hopped in Bryan's car and came home and went to bed.
That's beautiful. That's one of the things that people miss.
Yep.
I mean,
They left
to record at
Pisgah
Echo Mountain.
to go to Echo Mountain to record for 4 days, and then they were going to Florida, and then they were going to Nashville, and then they were going to make this big loop and get back to Colorado. And it's like, man, I'm glad I don't have to do that.
you realize the design you guys have. I mean, you're doing basically this. We'll use Leftover, okay?
Yeah.
Been around a long time, got a large following. But you guys are doing basically the same stuff, the same jobs, but you get to come home. You get to sleep in your bed most days. You're not killing yourself to do it. I mean, Leftover's fabulous.
Yeah,
That's an incredible band.
That is.
And they can still whip it up. It's
I
amazing
agree.
when they take the stage. It's like,
And they still have a large following after all these years.
Freaking unbelievable. I love
Well,
that band.
that's we'll go to that too. You guys have a pretty loyal following. I mean, you've built it. You've had it for a long time. It doesn't seem to be, after the time off, it doesn't seem to diminish. I mean, do you think you have any less fans than you ever had?
I'm the eternal pessimist in this band. I'm always the guy that thinks tomorrow's going to be it.
Hey, you should tell the story of.
I will. But my thing is, it's like, it's just a matter of time. They're going to stop coming.
This is our last interview, by the way.
Yeah, this is our last. This is it.
This is the last interview. I'm so lucky, man.
Yeah.
You got
Life's
the last
been good to me. Yeah.
So what did you want me to tell them?
About the CD somebody found when you were working your day job.
Okay. So literally 2 months after the band
This is fun.
the band, we decided we'd take a break, and then I worked on the farm for 2 years. And in 2006, I realized on my 40th birthday, it was 101 degrees, and I was carrying 5-gallon buckets of squash out of the field, and it was like Cambodia. Okay, it rained every day at 4:00, and we were still picking squash, and my shoes wouldn't even stay on my feet. It was so muddy. So I just pulled my shoes off, and I was carrying 5-gallon buckets of squash. You were there. The day I turned 40 years old, and I thought to myself, I might need to find a better way to make a living.
What? He's talking yellow crook neck spark.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know.
There is no better lid.
No, yeah,
Right,
no, there's not.
So I went to work for the DOT. My buddy down the road, Ronnie King, was a boss man at the DOT. He said, "Hey, I got a temporary opening. I remember you telling me, you might want to find a job at some point." And I said, "Yeah, I'll take it." So I went to work for the DOT. Man, it wasn't like a couple months. We were picking up trash on Mary's Grove Road.
This is funny. I can tell where this is going.
So, and my boss man was a great guy. You might even know him. His name's Robert Ledbetter.
I know. Yeah, I know it.
You know Ledbetter?
Yeah.
He talks like this.
Yeah.
Well, we were picking up trash, and Ledbetter.
This is too funny.
Ledbetter was. He comes up to me and he's got a CD in his hand, and hey, Big, he said, "Ain't that y'all?" And it was an Acoustic Syndicate CD. And I said, "Yeah." So he said, "I found it on the road back there." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, somebody must have lost it." And I said, "More than likely they threw it out the damn window."
Which one was it?
I don't even know.
It was Tributaries, was it?
Yeah.
Was it not the Tributaries record?
No, it was a burn. Somebody burned a CD.
Oh, Burns a burner.
Yeah. It said Acoustic Syndicate on it.
We all
And
have
I
this.
said- and I told him, I said, "I'll tell you what happened." I said, "They was riding down the road and he went, this shit sucks. Throw that shit out the window."
Out of here.
Yeah. Anyway,
That's
I
hilarious.
kind of figured at that point my music career might be over. But, but it wasn't, it was about a year later though, after that, our agent at the time is a good friend of ours, Hugh Southard. He called me up and he goes, "Man," he said, "the general public just is not willing to let this go." He said, "I get calls every single day for Acoustic Syndicate. Where are they at? What are they doing? Are they still around?" And I was like, I just don't know, So I kind of threw it back at the rest of the fellas, just, one piece at a time, one phone call here, one there. And next thing you know, we get back together for just kind of like a little reunion at, I forget where it was. I guess it was Orangeville maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah, I remember when y'all were doing that stuff, because then you were turning up at what was it?
Thanksgiving. Yeah, it was
Visualite.
Yeah.
Visualite.
Yeah.
And it's kind of started back up on its own, really. I mean, there was no real effort to
It just happened.
put it back in play. It just happened. It was
That's
just,
pretty. y'all have missed so much fun on this podcast, but you know, some things you just can't air. That being said, I'm back with Steve McMurry and Bryon McMurry from Acoustic Syndicate.
Yeah.
We're going to songwriting. They don't know this, but I'm telling you we are.
I'm about to put on my glasses.
Yeah, he put on his glasses, so he's serious.
Yeah, seriously.
All right, let's talk about songwriting. I get it from a different angle. What's your favorite song that you've written?
Ooh.
Yeah, I knew this would stump him.
Was that Papa's Got a Brand New Bag?
Okay, Bryon.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say probably "Fleeting Moments" is my favorite song that I've ever written.
Why is that?
I don't know. I think it's because the time and the circumstances in which that song came along. It was kind of like now the world was kind of, or our particular situation was kind of feeling sort of uncertain. You know, there was a lot of uncertainty going around.
It certainly is a good song.
And I don't know why that it seemed to me to be a call to just sort of appreciate what's around you, you know, at the time, because it may not be here forever.
This is true.
And,
do you enjoy performing it?
Yeah, we do. We still kick it out there from time to time. We usually hook it up with a couple of other tunes. What's the other one? Neighbors. We usually
that's a good tune.
tack it on the Neighbors.
All right, Bryon.
What's yours, Bryon?
Your favorite?
That I wrote, or
Yeah,
the Syndicate wrote?
Okay,
That
we'll
Steve
go
wrote?
with you first.
There's a song that Steve wrote that we don't play a whole lot anymore. It's called "Been There Again." It's a song that moves me almost to tears when I listen to it.
Why?
And I don't know. It's when you're making the music.
Yeah.
You put everything together. Everybody's energies get together, and then it's on disc, or it's down. It's out there for the public to hear. And you don't go back and listen to it for a whole.
Yeah, I understand that.
You come back to it. I want to say this. My cousin Steve is probably, when he puts a pen in his hand, he can put down stuff unlike any other writer that I've ever heard.
I'm not going to argue.
He's an amazing writer.
I'm not going
I
to
love
argue.
you, man.
No,
I'm not kidding.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to argue that with you.
that song in particular, I'd like to play that song again sometime.
What
As
is your
far as-
favorite song to play?
Oh my goodness, there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
I guess from one of the songs that I've written probably is a song, "Carry the World." Probably.
Good choice.
I don't know. That one's
I've got a second favorite that Bryon and I wrote together. It was called Carnival.
I like Carnival.
It's a lot of fun to play, and it's one of the few songs that actually me and Bryon sort of co-wrote together. Bryon came up with the music. He came up with he had the whole song down. The only thing that was missing was words. So,
Well, that's kind of what he
I
does.
walked out into my shop one day and it's like, he said, "Can you do something with this?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, maybe. Let's just see." But and it's just like one of those lucky, fortunate things. You know, I walked out there and spent 30 minutes on it, or an hour or something. You know, came back in there, and it just happened to work out. You know, it was one of those things. It just got lucky, and next thing you know, we were doing pre-production for the record for a song that we wrote in 2 hours tops. He came in with the tune, and it's like, literally in one afternoon, you know, he came in with the song and said, "Hey man, what do you think about this?" And I walked out laid in my hammock for about an hour and a half and wrote
Great
some words
way,
down.
great way to write a song. I'm laying in my hammock writing a song.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yep.
Do
That's
y'all-
how that one happened, actually.
Y'all collaborate a lot. I can't even speak.
Corroborate? Not as much as we should, probably.
No.
I mean, y'all pretty much individual writers.
It's happened more like even going back in as far as Rainbow Roller Coasters.
Right. That's a long time.
The melody of stuff.
Yeah.
I've came up with melodies.
Do you come
Steve
in with
has
melodies
the words.
and he
Yeah,
adds
Steve
That's
words?
kind of how it works, yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's actually
We've done a
pretty
few
good.
like that. We did
Sunlight Falls.
Sunlight Falls.
Yeah.
I was thinking of a couple of others, too.
November.
Yeah, for sure.
That's one.
November. Yep. Yep. But it's kind of an accidental collaboration.
It is.
Yeah, well, I can
It's
understand
not
that.
really
Yeah.
let's sit down. You and I are going to sit down and write a
Well,
song.
yeah, y'all don't do that. I mean,
No.
you don't sit down.
No.
You don't do the Nashville deal. Hey, I got you.
I got a
guys
thing,
sit
you
up.
got a thing. Let's see if we can make this work.
Like, I'm a songwriter, and you're a songwriter.
Sunlight
and
Falls is
yeah.
kind of another one.
That's-
That was in a freaky time signature, you know.
It
It's
is.
in 7. So
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, that's another thing. How do you write when he... Okay, he's giving you this weird time signature.
Well-
How do you write a song to that?
Because I've known him since he was
Yeah,
three.
okay, that works.
no, you've known me since
I've
I was
known you
inception.
since you was 0.
Okay,
He's
that
actually my,
works.
I know how he
he's
works.
actually my father.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And my first cousin.
Yeah, that works.
And my brother-in-law.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, I know that too. So, but I'm glad y'all made that a point. Yeah.
Yeah, we got that out of the way.
But you know that, I mean, that's another thing too. Let's pick a time signature that y'all don't work in. I mean,
don't know that there is one.
we got your regular band 4/4. Then y'all got y'all. Pick a signature that y'all haven't worked in.
I like 7.
Yeah.
Seven,
You know,
seven's awesome.
I really
Yeah.
do like 7.
Seven's
Well,
actually what?
7 is good. I mean,
It really-
pretty much 7 is what y'all do.
We do a lot of 7.
But nobody else does 7 because you realize that's weird.
It's 7.
While we're on that, you realize you have a distinctive voice, a distinctive style playing, and oh God, let's go to you. You play banjo, right? That's not banjo that you play.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. How do you answer that?
I don't know.
Well,
I got to answer for it.
You know.
He's a drummer trapped in a
I love
banjo's
the
body.
drums. I do love the drums.
you hate the
He's
banjo.
a percussionist.
And for the record, I would have been a drummer had my older brother Fitz had not been 2 years older than me, and he could take the drumsticks out of my hands physically.
So that's the reason you beat the hell out of the banjo?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I've got
you're
so many. I have to give props where props are due to time signatures with bands like King Crimson and Genesis, and Adrian Belew is
Do you
my
realize how-
Adrian Belew is actually one of my heroes.
Wait, that's sick for a jam bluegrass band.
I know.
I mean,
it don't make any sense.
No, I ain't buying that.
The world needs to know Adrian Belew.
They do. I agree. But they
need to
never
know.
will. You realize that, right?
Yeah, they should though.
That's
the,
not-
the ones that
because-
need to already
Yeah.
do.
Well, they do. You don't
Yeah.
have to tell them.
That's right. You don't have
However, that's sick for a banjo player. You realize that?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. It's just
Can you
it's what
eat-
I had in my hand.
Can
know.
you?
It's
Let
like,
me ask you this: Can you do an Earl Scruggs roll?
Yes,
Oh,
I
yeah.
can. I totally can, and I respect all that. I respect Earl Scruggs and everything that came with it.
That's where we're going.
You know what's so crazy is Earl worked with my mother, Judy Hamrick.
Yeah.
She lived directly across from the Lily Mill.
Okay.
And Earl Scruggs, when he was 15 years old, worked with my grandmother, my mother's mother and father, in the cotton mill. And they would come to my grandparents' house when he was 15 years old and play songs.
That's too cool.
It's unbelievable. I didn't really come to terms with that.
So where did you go wrong?
I don't know. I didn't get my grandmother. My grandmother, she would tell me. She would say, I'd cook lunch for Girl Scruggs, and he'd come up here and we'd play music on the front porch. And I didn't appreciate it till much later because I was listening to. I grew up in as a child. We did Steve and I.
70s and 80s.
I can only give any if there's been any inspiration to where the Syndicate is.
Right.
Is because Steve and I rode countless hours in his Toyota Celica with Sacrete in the back in the trunk because it'd be snowing.
What was in the trunk?
We'd be Sacrete.
Tell. I know what
50-pound
it is.
bags of concrete.
Okay, yeah, okay. We gotta get
so we
that
wouldn't
out
get
here.
stuck
Exactly.
driving through the snow.
All right.
Listening to everything under the sun, from King Crimson to Bob Marley to King Crimson to Genesis,
Steely Dan,
Steely
Police,
Dan, the Police,
Peter Gabriel.
Whoa, wait. You guys are a bluegrass band, a bluegrass
We're
jam
not
band.
really.
No,
We
you're not.
weren't.
I
We
know,
didn't know
but-
we weren't.
I know.
That's the instruments we had in front of us. That's what we had to, we were
To
given
convey
these,
that
these,
to-
these
yeah.
instruments. But
The thing of it is, I hate to go back to that story that you.
No, we're trying to avoid this.
I know we were trying to avoid this, but
Yeah.
when I was 12, I got a fiddle and Bryon got
Right.
a banjo and
Fitz got a guitar.
and that's
Yeah.
kind of where it started. Well, when you have instruments, you kind of fixate on that
I
instrument.
understand, yeah.
And your material, regardless of what your instrumental preference might be, is going to manifest itself out of that instrument, no matter what you're playing.
But you realize that's cool.
For Bryon, that happened to be the damn banjo, which is
all I ever
for
wanted
us-
to play was the trombone.
but for us that was cool, because
It is.
because he learned some crazy, wild stuff on the banjo and that nobody else does, and it just came out. And for a lot of other banjo aficionados, who go to great lengths to try to figure out other things on the banjo, well, that's good, and that's all awesome. One of my favorite people in this whole world, banjo aficionados, is, God dang it.
I love this. Don't you love
What's his name?
What's his name? I don't know. Don't look at me.
Okay.
Eddie Adcock?
Oh, I love Eddie.
I do too.
Yeah, Eddie.
No.
He was another front.
But that's not the person.
He's
though.
a fucking.
But that's not who he's talking
Yes,
about.
he is.
No, that's not who he's
Baylor?
talking about. No, it's not Baylor either.
We're going to have to edit this out. But
Chubby Jack.
Jeff Jagger.
I can't help you.
Chubby was a badass.
Chubby was a badass banjo player.
He was.
No, Songs from Red Band. Who am I thinking?
Oh, Ryan
Cavanaugh. Yeah.
Got him.
Oh,
So
man,
Ryan
no
Cavanaugh,
Oh, goddamn.
I
Yes.
don't know why I spaced on that, but anyway, Ryan gives credit wherever credit's due, and he was like, a lot of banjo technicality didn't come from banjo players; it came from way outside of the banjo world, and that's where Bryon lands, and that's.
I agree.
Yeah.
He's
What I
such
said
a
about
different banjo player, but now we understand why.
Yeah.
The boy grew up with
All
from outer
because
space.
of Chubby Checker.
It's all because
Chubby Checker on the banjo. Okay.
Hey, I'm going to say this, and
He's going to regret it.
I'm
He's
gonna say
going to regret it.
No, I'm not. Ryan Cavanaugh is the best banjo player that this world has ever seen.
Never knew.
Never knew.
Yeah. That's better.
Ryan Cavanaugh,
I ain't going to argue that much either.
he's
Although
freaking
I like-
unbelievable.
Although I
badass.
do like Eddie Adcock.
Yeah. I love Eddie Adcock.
Eddie
Adcock was a banjo player of. He raised the bar.
He
did. No, he did.
Totally raised the bar.
Eddie was totally different than everybody else,
Different.
which is what you are.
Yes, that's what I appreciate about the banjo.
Eddie, bluegrass.
Everybody always
Purist.
tries to play everybody else's shit.
Everybody.
That's never appealed to me, ever.
Purist hate Eddie Adcock. Eddie's great.
Oh, he's unbelievable.
Eddie was different than everybody else.
Yes.
Eddie was 10 yards ahead of everybody else, and that's what everybody.
You know where Eddie was?
Sort of
he was best
about
buddies with Danny Gatton. He was hanging with Danny Gatton back in the days of, which that goes.
Okay, we're going to Danny Gatton in case you don't know, because we're musicians. But Danny
we
Gatton
get to do that.
Was a Telecaster player that guitar. I'm sorry, I said Telecaster. He was a guitar player of unusual talent. A different view of guitar.
Unmatched renown.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Everybody just needs to check out Danny Gatton.
Yeah, check out Danny Gatton. No doubt.
But Eddie Adcock was the same way.
Yeah, he
Ryan
was.
Kavanaugh is the same way.
Yes, he is.
Ryan.
Yes.
Here's the way I view Ryan Kavanaugh. He is so above everybody's heads that they don't get it.
Most people don't.
You're hearing this now,
Ryan.
and you're listening to this podcast. If you're a music lover, please check him out.
He's incredible.
If you like music
and
you're not just a listener, you're a real music lover, check him out.
Yeah.
He would not be saying this. He would not be saying this if it was not true.
Right on.
Love
to Ryan.
People miss most of the really great musicians in the world because they listen to the whatever, but not the right people.
Right on.
I'm sitting here with two guys that, if you haven't heard them, do yourself a favor, educate yourself, look up Acoustic Syndicate. It will change your whole perspective of acoustic music. It's okay. We're going. You've heard a lot. You've heard a lot of people. Farm Aid. Let's go to Farm Aid. These guys have played Farm Aid. Bonnaroo, you guys played Bonnaroo?
Bonnaroo,
yeah. Okay. Floydfest.
Yes.
Oh, let's go to Floydfest just for fun here.
Floydfest was awesome this last time. We had a ball.
And why was it awesome?
Well, it's like one of the best, even though it's really on a super tight spot of real estate. It's pretty well run. My son-in-law's sister lives in Floyd, Virginia. That's the big event for all of Floyd. Well, yeah, it's pretty much the event of the season for the area there. But the whole area kind of comes together for that.
Okay,
you can't imagine a more beautiful spot for a festival. It's up on top of this mountain.
I agree.
And it's the valleys and the little communities all surrounding there. It's all right off the Blue Ridge Parkway, and it's beautiful. I mean, you can't imagine a better place to have a festival.
We're going to this. This is one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life. Buffalo Mountain Jam. I'm reading this from the Rolling Stone. The cover of the Rolling Stone. Well, let me tell you this. I'm reading verbatim. Top 10 things I heard at Floydfest, including Steve, Big Daddy McMurray's incendiary wailing version of Junior Parker's Mystery Train. Could you ever have anything better written about you?
That was pretty cool.
In your whole life? I mean, okay. Tell me about that.
Well, that was fun. I got a call from Keller Williams.
Yeah, it was Keller
about
Williams
3 weeks
Jam.
before the festival, and he said, "Hey, man, we want to get you over there on the set, and you got any ideas for a good song?" And I came up with a couple of things. I was like, "Yeah." He was like, the theme is around homecoming. And I was like, "Well, I got this, a really good old country song called "Sweetest Breeze." It's all about going home." And he goes, "Yeah, all right, we'll check it out." And he said, "The thing of it is, he said, Salmon's going to be backing this up." That's leftover salmon.
Right, yeah, okay.
And he said there's going to be a couple of extra special guests there, and I didn't know who they were. But turns out they were, one of them was Lucas Nelson, and the other was one of the Travers brothers. I can't remember the Travers brothership. Anywho, gets down to it about a week before the show, and he calls me on the phone. He goes, "Hey, dude," he said, "I was just listening to Live from the Neighborhood." And he said, "I was kind of researching that song." He goes, "I ran across this Mystery Train."
Yeah, it's a great
that you
song.
got on there. He goes, "Can we do that?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, we can do it."
Yeah, you can do it.
So I was like, "Well, how you want to do it?" He said, "I want to do it just like the record." So for the record, back in the day we had the live. I don't remember. What year did the live record come out? I don't even know.
2000
Anyway,
somewhere in there.
2000 something.
2000, yeah.
The Live from the Neighborhood, and we did a Junior Wells cover of Mystery Train.
Yeah.
And
great
it was
song.
Wide. It was wide ass open.
It
was
is. I've
crazy
heard it,
and
yes.
just nuts. Too fast to play, really.
Yeah, really,
But
it was.
that's what Keller wanted to do, and I was like, all right. So I went back and dug it out. Honestly, it's the first time I'd listened to the song in like 15 years.
Had y'all not been doing it much?
No.
Okay.
I mean, we've never done that song.
Okay.
And so went back and dug it up, and it was like, ooh, all right. All right. So anyway, I showed up with it.
Wait. Did you do it in the same key?
Yep.
Okay.
Same key, same everything. And I showed up ready to roll. And that's what they wanted to do. So we went out there, and first chord was,
The band had it. It was
the band had it. They
rehearsed it.
They rehearsed it, and they ran it around. And all I had to do was just go out there and do it. And so I started it off like we normally do, and wound up, and it really was incendiary.
You realize that's on fire, right?
Wide ass.
I mean,
yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's a great word. He's a great writer. It's a great word. I mean, if you could have anything said about your song, incendiary and wailing, God Almighty, what kind of writer?
And incendiary, yeah.
It's a great writer.
If you're going to be in Rolling Stone, those are two good words.
I agree. Yeah. I agree. Well, did you think you did it well?
I walked off of there feeling pretty damn good.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, that was important. I would feel that if they wrote that I had done a pretty good job of it, but
Well, to be honest with you, I'm never sure about anything.
Yeah, I know you are. God, man.
But when I read it in Rolling Stone, I was pretty well sure.
How can you be that way?
I don't know.
I wanted to preface that whole set was he literally had to walk off a set to get to a set. We were literally playing a gig
15 minutes before,
and as soon as we got finished, Steve had to leave abruptly to make it to the next set. And the fact that he killed it.
Apparently he did.
I threw my stuff on a golf cart, and somebody threw me over there. And we hit the last chord, ba-dum. All right, get this shit. All right, so we put it.
I say now, roll down Hammer Lord and come up again. I say now, roll down Hammer Lord and come up again. Well, you know I ain't had no loving since I don't know when. I'm singing now, roll down Hammer, strike that railroad pin. Well, they put me to the ball and chain for 13 years. I've been strapped to this old ball and chain for 13 years. I ain't seen me nothing, Lord, but blood, sweat, and tears. I've been strapped to this old ball and chain for 13 years. I'm singing, roll down Hammer, Lord, and and come up again. I say now, roll down Hammer, Lord, and come up again. Well, you know I ain't had no loving since I don't know when. I'm singing now, roll down Hammer, strike that railroad. Well, they put me to the ball and chain for the rest of my life. You know they put me to the ball and chain for the rest of my life. For killing that old man, what done stole my wife. You know they put me on the chain gang for the rest of my life. I'm singing, roll down Hammer, Lord, and come up again. I say now, roll down Hammer, Lord, and come up again. Well, you know I ain't had no loving since I don't know when. I'm singing a roll down Hammer, strike that railroad. Oh, I'm singing a roll down Hammer, strike that railroad. Oh, I'm singing now, roll down Hammer, strike that railroad.